Hey everybody, my name's Florian. Today I'm going to do a quick follow-up tutorial on this one here, where I showed you how to create destruction effects with X particles and turbulence FD. I'm not going into any turbulence FD today, it's just about X particles and some bug that I discovered in 3.0 or whatever the version was back then, and which has been fixed now in 3.5, which makes our simulations look even more realistic and nice. And I will also go over the answer and question and answer system in X particles a little bit to show you how to improve your simulations even more. So without further ado, let's jump into Cinema and let's create our playground. So we need a plane, and we are going to shoot around some spheres today. Make them maybe 15 in radius, and put this one into a cloner and clone them along the x-axis. I don't know, 7 times because it's a lucky number, and put the clones here. Maybe reduce the subdivisions to make them nicer in the viewport here. Alright. Actually, I think to make the whole viewport look nicer for you guys, I can try just turning on anti-aliasing even more. It's on 4 now, maybe let's put it to 8. How do you like that? Looks much nicer now, right? And this, I don't know if you can even see it on the with the Vimeo compression, but it doesn't matter. So, alright, we have our cloner here, and we want to make those objects dynamic, so we're gonna put a simulation tag rigid body onto the cloner and just copy it onto the plane. And you can either just go click on dynamic off, which makes it a collider body, or just add a simulation tags collider body, which does the exact same thing as just turning the dynamics off here. Alright, so on our cloner we want to set the individual elements to all. So now our spheres are being treated as individual dynamic objects. We want to shoot them along the z-axis, and a nice way to do it is using a plane effector for that. So we're going to create a plane effector, and on parameters we're going to change it to 15z or something, and make a linear fall off, and let's turn it like this. So what we're going to do now is we're going to keyframe the plane effector along those spheres to get our initial velocity to start the dynamics. So what I'm going to do is I will keyframe the position of the plane effector here on frame 0, and on frame 15 I will move it to, let's say, here. Keyframe it again. Oh, that worked great. Oh yeah. So right now our dynamics kick in at frame 0 for our elements. So we have to change this to trigger at velocity peak. What this will do, it will check all the elements for their current velocity, and if the velocity is at frame X is higher than it was 1 frame before, the dynamics will kick in and use the current velocity as initial velocity. So now we can drive our initial velocity with the plane effector instead of using the bit tedious custom initial velocity settings here. So we don't want to kind of shoot them all with the same speed here. So we will just keyframe the z speed again. Let's say on frame 15 this should be 50 centimeter, which is alright. On frame 0 we want to have 0. So as the effector moves over the spheres, it will increase its the speed that it's inheriting to them. Maybe let's just change all our keyframes to linear, those guys are linear now, and so now you see they're increasing the speed accordingly. I think, which ones did I do? Yeah, it was the position and this one. They're all linear now. All right. Just in case you're wondering, you can turn on also in your preferences. You can turn on, yeah, it's your timeline spline gadget. You can turn on the where is it? Show key symbols, which will basically in your timeline show if the keyframes are either linear or step or spline keyframes or whatever. So this is a nice feature. All right. So now we have those spheres rolling around the surface here, which is cool. And we'll just make our plane effector invisible, and then save this really quick, and we will, yeah, let's just go with an XP system today and deactivate the icon in the viewport. By the way, if you always, like I do, always deactivate the icon in the viewport, you click it off, you go to edit, set as default, and this will set the current object as a default type. All right, so if we delete the XP system again and create it again, you see now our icon in viewport is set to default off. You can do this with everything, by the way. So if you tend to set stuff all the time to all the same settings that are off default, just set them as default, and you save yourself some seconds, which will add up in the long run. All right, so make this a little bit bigger here. We need an emitter, so this will be our stick particles emitter, and this guy is going to emit onto, oh yeah, first what we have to do is we got to bake our simulation. I showed this, I'm just going to go over this really quickly. I showed this to you in the other tutorial, so just check this out. Basically I have to bake the simulation because we gotta put the thing into a connect object, and otherwise it wouldn't really work properly. So all right, this connect object now is our emitting object, and we want to emit on the polygon area and stick particles to source object. So in Xparticles 3.5 they repaired the function, so although particles are stuck now to an object, they still carry velocity information with them, which fixes the issue that we had in the old version. All right, so those are our stick particles, and we will turn our plane into an X-particle collider, and we want maybe have some bounce and friction, and our action on collision is going to be add action. Let's put into the action tab here, and this is going to be change control spawning, and we need a second emitter for that. This is going to be our spawning emitter, spawn, and let's drag it into here. Oops, no, sorry, into here. And we're going to spawn two particles, and now we can inherit our velocity. This is the thing that wasn't possible in the old version. So this fixes a lot of ugly simulations now, just by turning this one on. All right, so what else do we need? We need some gravity for the particles as well, otherwise they will just fly around in space. So let's turn on gravity and maybe set it down a little bit, and let's have a look. All right, so it is doing something. Oh, that actually doesn't look that bad. Woo, that's nice. Okay, so we just turn our display mode for those spawn particles to, I don't know. I think red wasn't really visible with the Vimeo compression, so I will try, I don't know, this is a hard decision. Let's try orange here and maybe change it to circle. All right, I think you should see the orange circles now, and let's also change those guys to circles so they're visible, better visible. All right, cool. So you see those guys are spawning like way too fast. The thing is, the inherited speed is quite high, so we can easily multiply them by 0.2 or something. So see, this looks better, and we can also up our gravity again. Maybe lowering it was a mistake. Yeah, that looks better. All right, now you see if I turn our spawn particles to where is it? Lines, and just go frame by frame for a second. You can see that now those guys spawning here are actually spawning slower than those guys spawning here, independently from the direction that they're spawning right now. But those guys have those lines are shorter, which means the velocity is smaller, and those guys are longer, which means the velocity is bigger. So this wasn't possible with the bug in 3.0. So now they fixed it. This looks great. So all we gotta do is we gotta change the direction to inherited direction also. Spawn particle position is alright. Direction should be relative to source particle direction, and maybe spread it by, I don't know, 10% or something. Now you see our particles are moving in the same direction that our spheres did, and you see we're getting those kind of steppings here. So we can how could we solve that? I mean, this is a thing that's being calculated frame by frame. Maybe we could solve it with the subframe steps in X particles. Maybe turn it to 5. All right, that did something. Didn't expect that. Turn it back to 1. Maybe up the iterations here. What could be is that we don't really have an even distribution of particles on our sphere, or it's jumping, it's generating collisions here, and then next frame and next frame. Yeah, that's the thing. I think it's just too fast for our calculation. So we either need to reduce our speed or something. Yeah, this is annoying now. Let me think. Yeah, I think the best solution to solve this is to maybe simulate the whole thing with like half the speed or something. So go to your dynamic settings and reduce the timescale to 50%, and you would also need to, oh, I've baked it already, so you gotta like undo the bake and reduce the timescale to 50% and stuff like that. Maybe that would work. I don't want to try that out now, so for this tutorial it's not going to be important. So anyways, we have our particles now jumping around and spawning around. The thing is, on the other tutorial I showed you that we did actually just shoot particles onto the object to trigger the dynamics. So and we also killed the particles when they, where was it? Kill particle after spawning. All right. So this is good if you don't want to like spawn particles forever. Let's just look at the slower spheres here for a second. So I'll maybe just turn on the spheres again, circles, sorry. So we're just creating dust or debris particles or something when our spheres are actually moving fast and kind of on the first impact, and then maybe a little bit more. But as the objects travel along the floor or something, or when they eventually come to a rest, they will not spawn any particles anymore. So maybe I will just add some cubes in here. Make them approximately the same size, and disable the connect and just do a quick recache of the thing. All right, so so this looks a little bit odd because there's not much friction going on. Maybe I will just up that because it really looks stupid. So clear the cache and turn up our friction here to, let's say, 100. And yeah, that looks better. And let's rebake it and turn on the connect again. So yeah, the thing why I set the particles to kill the original particle after spawning here is otherwise it would keep on creating particles here. So if we look from the bottom, can you see that? If I oh, this is not too bad. It seems like it's not generating collisions on those shapes anymore. If that's a new feature in 3.5, this is really great and came unnoticed actually. So in the earlier versions, you always had particles like kept on spawning from those objects, although they were already standing still. They were still generating collisions and spawning new particles. Apparently, they're not doing it anymore, which is very helpful. I wonder if that's just if I can just not see them. So interesting. Let's just quickly check that out. So disable the clone for a second and the connect, sorry, and turn down our count here. Clear the cache. All right, bake it. And turn up the connect object again. So in theory, this guy stops rolling. Stop rolling. All right, he won't. So let's just make one and recache it and reconnect it. So in theory, our particle count should not increase as soon as the cube stop moving. So let's just check if that's the truth. If we go to our display settings and activate the HUD, yes, brilliant. So you see we're not getting any more live particles as soon as the cube stops, which is really good. This is this helps, definitely helps. So actually I wanted to show you the question and answer system to deactivate the particles being spawned as soon as those guys' speed reaches 0. So we don't even need to do that because X particles looks like does it by himself. So this is great. In this case, this tutorial is going to be shorter than expected, and I'll just up the count again to 7 maybe, and rebake the simulation. I'm honestly surprised, really. Great. All right, so this is cool. We are having constant flow of particles here. So let's say we do not want to have this kind of like they're literally spawning forever. So we want them to be once one of those green particles created a spawn event and spawned an orange particle, we want them really to die, so they're not making like an endless trail of particles here, right? We could do it like this, but we could also, let me think. I will show you the question and answer system. It's this is fun. All right, so we want to only spawn orange particles if those green particles have a certain speed. So those are all right. They can spawn until the cube reached 0 speed, but we do not want to have like an infinite trail of particles coming off those spheres here. We want them to stop eventually, and if possible, not abrupt, but like slowly reducing the amount of particles being spawned. So we can do that with our question and answer system in X particles, which is very handy. To do that, we're going onto our stick particles emitter, go to questions and add a question. And the question is our particle, does it have a speed greater than 150 by default? We want it to have a speed, yeah, let's say it's less than, or let's say in range, I think. No, less than. All right, let's do it with the less than thing. Less than 150. We don't know if that's the correct speed for now, so we would just use this one for now. So if the speed is less than 150, we want our how are we going to do this? We want to kind of deactivate our control spawning action, but we can't really do this. How can we do this? We can just change the group of the particles to something that is not being affected by the collider anymore. So what we're going to do is we are going to create a new particle group. Actually, we're going to create a second one from this one as well. So this is our particle group born, and this is our particle group spawned, and let's make those guys orange. And this is our particle group, let's call them, I don't know, not spawning anymore. Right, and those guys should be red. Okay, so our stick particles, is this a word? Let's call it stuck particles. Our stuck particles are being born into the particle group born, and they are affected by our collider tag, and also the spawn particles will collide from the floor. All right. And the particle group not spawning anymore will not be affected by the tag. So our spawn emitter will create the spawned particles here, and if the particle speed is less than 150, we will create a new action, and this should be, I think, under direct action, change group, and we will change to not spawning anymore. And I think that should do it. All right, so we see after frame 1, all our particles turn red, which means they turn into the particle group not spawning anymore, which means our speed with 150 is way too low. So let's just up that to 1000. Let's try this. $3,000 maybe? 10,000? All right, so this is if our speed is, oh, all right, so it's less than, sorry, this was my fault. So it's less than 1 centimeter maybe. Are you serious? You gotta be kidding me. Let's try this. Man, this is could be another bug, could just be me seeing not the, I should see. Oh yeah, this could be it. The thing is, on frame 0 they have 0 speed, and they're being spawned on frame 0, so we will change the shot time to, I don't know, frame 3 or something. So yeah, now it works. Yeah, you see on frame 0, and if we go from frame 0 to frame 1, they're not moving at all, so they all have 0 speed, which is why they triggered the particle speed question here. So now when we spawn our particles onto the objects on frame 3, maybe that's even too early. Maybe we have to wait until all of them are in motion, which is frame 14. Okay, so this wouldn't work because then we wouldn't get those spawns here. So what we're going to do is we're going to shoot on frame 1, and we will add another sub question. So if our speed is less than 10 and our particle age is greater than, in that case, 14. So because on frame 14 all of them are in motion, speed is lower than 10 and they're older than 14 frames, then they can go through the action thing here. So see, now it works. And this guy here, what is he doing? All right, so our 10 centimeter thing is still too high. So let's do 100 maybe. All right, we can do 50. Yeah, this looks good. So you see we're getting this constantly smaller amount of streak here, of particles here, and this like slowly fading out streak here, which does not really make sense to me, as all those particles now should actually have. Oh yeah, I get it. So those particles around the what's it called? The equator, more or less, of the sphere are of course faster, and those around here are smaller. So this is why they're not being triggered at the same time. And yeah. Anyways, we want to have a bit more randomness in this. So let's check it out if that's somehow possible. And I think I've seen a random question here somewhere. Random probability. All right. So if the speed is less than 50 and our particle age is they're older than 14 frames, then we want to have a random probability of I don't know, 10% to turn the particles into the red group and not spawn any other particles anymore. So what this random probability means, if it's set to 100%, each frame 100% of them will turn will get a yes as an answer to this question, right? So 10% means 10% of the particles will get a yes to the answer. So this is a question. This is a thing that's being asked like once per frame. So yeah. Anyways, if we up the probability to 40%, you see now we're getting a much more longer streak that slowly starts to fade off. So we can turn the length of the streak. We can control that by the random probability here. All right, cool. Is there something else I wanted to show you? I showed you question answers, and yeah, I don't know. I think that's it for today. I can just say, if you haven't downloaded Xparticle 3.5 yet, do it. It's the most significant update in a long time. It's really cool. They have loads of great new improvements and new features and bug fixes and stuff, and it just made the great package even better. So yeah, hope to see you soon, and enjoy playing around with your new particle knowledge. See ya.